Humanity has been welcoming the new Age of Aquarius for quite some time now. However, D-Day, the portal day through which we are officially entering into this wonderful, long-awaited new era, will happen on the 21st of December of this year, 2020. Hello, my name is Lily from Casa Alhambra, and I am very happy to be sharing with you about this most wonderful event. Let's welcome the Age of Aquarius. On the 21st of December 2020, Jupiter and Saturn will meet for the first time in millennials at 0 degrees in Aquarius. This event will mark the official beginning of the Age of Aquarius. Isn't that exciting? We will officially be saying goodbye to another great era, the Age of Pisces. The Age of Pisces was the age of the fish, the age of Christianity and of all world religions. They served their purpose, and we thank them for that. However, even Jesus prophesied of the coming of a new era, an era where spirituality from the heart will be more prevalent than established religions. Remember the story of the Samaritan woman in John 4, 1-23? In this story, Jesus, Pisces, asks the Samaritan woman with a pitcher of water, Aquarius, to give him water to drink. After they chatted for a while, the Samaritan woman asked Jesus where was the right place to worship God, which was a way of saying which is the right religion. To which Jesus answered, "The time is coming when people will neither worship here nor there, but the true worshippers will worship God in spirit and in truth. For those are the type of worshippers God is after. God is a spirit, and those who worship Him must worship in spirit and truth." I believe that this new age of Aquarius is an age of greater spiritual maturity, where our spirituality will be dictated not by norms that establishments dictate, but by what sincerely springs from our hearts and minds. We won't do good because we are told to do good, or because we are afraid of the consequences. We will do good because we will want to do good, out of our own convictions, which is a more mature attitude. Just like a child needs rules and norms, humanity needed the rules and norms that religions offered. And that was good for that time. However, when the child grows into an adult, it is important for the adult to think for himself, out of personal conviction. In the same way, we as a race needed the structure of Pisces. But the time has come for us to move into an era of greater accountability, of greater maturity, of a more heart-based spirituality. My friends, we are living at a most interesting time in the history of our planet. I see this as the time of the mighty ones. I believe that this is a time when a great number of the strongest souls have chosen to incarnate on earth. You see, if we think how battles were fought in times of old, we can understand this clearly. In times of old, when nation went against nation, who went in the front row? It was the king or the prince, the knights, the greatest warriors. So it is now. We are living in a time where conflicting forces are at work. There are some spiritual forces who are for the ascension of the planet to a higher plane of consciousness, while other forces are trying to keep us vibrating low under their control. Both forces are now in a fierce battle for the control of humanity, now more than ever. This is the time of decision. That is why many volunteer souls. The 3 waves of volunteers that Dolores Cannon used to talk about have come here to Earth. It was for this time, this very special time. It is important that those of us who are for the ascension of the planet start remembering who we are, where we came from, and why we came here for. It is important to take our place in this cosmic plan and using our greatest tools, which are love, wisdom, truth, and strength, help raise the vibration of the planet as a whole, each person at a time. There are some people who believe that what is coming is great and wonderful, while others believe that it is awful and scary. I can see what Dolores Cannon was referring to when she talked about the new Earth. The Earth is splitting into one beautiful, one not so beautiful. The truth is that Earth is going to ascend, and with her, those who are ready and willing to ascend. The ones who are not ready nor willing to ascend will remain in the old Earth until they are ready to move up. Our job as light workers is to help ascend those who are ready to do so. But Earth is ascending regardless. You see, it is time for that to happen. I would like to share with you my personal view of things, taking into account some esoteric teachings already existing. It is believed that Earth has gone through some various eras, races, evolutionary cycles. The first era was the polar era. During this time, the beings on this planet were so pure and spiritual that they were even non-physical at all. The beings here were spiritual, astral, etheric. They were really close to Source, very close to Source, like a baby is close to his parents. The beings here had the task of preparing Earth for its future development. When they finished their job, they left to give way to the next group, which was the Hyperboreans. The second era belonged to the Hyperboreans. The beings here were very spiritually advanced, but only a little physical. They were semi-astral, but became a bit denser with the passing of time, starting to show some physical form. We could compare the Hyperboreans with a toddler, still very pure and close to his parents, but a bit more adventurous and willing to walk and fall when needed. When they finished their job, they gave way to the next group, which was the Lemurians. The third era was that of the Lemurians. This was a wonderful civilization, very wise and spiritual, and it was the first race with physical form, yet with high spiritual and psychic abilities that allow them to dematerialize at times. Lemurians knew a lot about crystals and left us their wisdom and messages on some clear quartz crystals that they crafted in the form of barcodes. Having a Lemurian crystal by our side is a great privilege. It's like having a highly spiritual old friend helping us to problem solve, as they tend to share their wisdom to our hearts and minds. We could compare the Lemurians to a well-behaved, well-adjusted child, always trying to do the right thing. When the Lemurians fulfilled their mission, they left way for the Atlanteans. The fourth era was that of the Atlanteans. The Atlanteans were a physical civilization. They were clever and talented. We could compare the Atlanteans to a highly intelligent and talented teenager who feels he's invincible and is not afraid to try new things and even to be a daredevil. The Atlanteans have left us a wealth of wisdom and knowledge, some of which has been transmitted to us in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, and through the mystery schools. When the time of the Atlanteans was over, it was time for another group to appear. This takes us to our current era. I compare this era to the age of Pisces. This era could be compared to a young adult who is so caught up in his physical reality that he has almost forgotten his connection to his true spiritual essence. A young adult who is trying to get his life in order and needs the structures offered by religions and other social organizations. I believe that this young adult era has hit rock bottom because it needed to do so. It was all part of his learning experience. And judging for the events of this year, don't we all feel that Earth has been like a phoenix going through the flames of fire? And just like a phoenix, I believe that the Earth will ascend. The phoenix will rise from the ashes as we will enter into this new era. We are at the time of the phoenix rising, the time of joining forces and pushing our planet up in ascension. We are here to help facilitate the entry into this new era, the Age of Aquarius. This is a time when we are returning back to Source, to a greater closeness to our Mother and Father Divine. This is the time of starting our journey back home. We can compare this era with that of a mature man or woman who, after having experienced life as fully as possible, has become wiser and more centered and starts appreciating the wisdom and goodness of his or her parents and starts drawing close to them. So it is in this new era, in this new age of Aquarius, we are ascending. We have matured, we have learned what we needed to learn, and now it is the time to consolidate our wisdom and reconnect with Source with a higher level of maturity. I believe that the 21st of December 2020 will mark the beginning of this glorious new era, and while not everything will change overnight, we will start seeing major changes. The polarity between the two groups will accentuate. The two Earth realities will continue to separate. For those who are ready, it will be awesome. Eventually, we will enter into a more glorious time, a time where there will be no more struggle between the two groups, a time of total goodness, a time of peace and rest. I salute you, my mighty friends. Your life matters. Remember who you are. Remember where you came from, and remember why you came here for.